You will not find a woman who's never had a guy try and nice his way into her pants. That woman does not exist in the modern age. And so even a hint that that's what you're doing, whether it's true or not, will absolutely tank her attraction for you. In an instant, you can go from cool and attractive to weak, sneaky, like you've got no self-confidence. It makes you look terrible. And I'm not trying to be harsh because we've all made the mistake, right? In fact, the only guys that haven't made this mistake probably are the guys who are genuinely not nice. And we can't just let them win, right? So let me explain to you how to avoid this trap while still being yourself. My name's Max. Welcome to Blueprint Attraction. So the problem with nice behavior is that if people don't know you, they don't know how to interpret it. When I say nice, though, I'm talking about something very specific. If a woman describes you as polite, friendly, fun, charming, that's generally a good thing. So in a second, I'll come on to how to separate those things from the behaviors that will get you described as nice. But first, you need to understand why women are so put off by it at the start, but then not so much when you're in a relationship. There are three main reasons why someone would be nice to you. The first is genuine goodwill. So they are nice because they genuinely want you to be happy and healthy and they enjoy helping people. So in other words, they're being nice because they are nice. The second is ulterior motive. So this is where someone is being nice to you because they want something from you. And that could be anything from just validation to resources to sex. And in women's case, it's often going to be sex. So in this case, the niceness is just a strategy for getting what they want from you. And then the third would be fear or weakness. So they're behaving nicely because they're terrified to ruffle anyone's feathers and land in any kind of conflict. So they sort of tiptoe through life, trying not to offend anyone as a sort of defense mechanism. All three of these from the outside can look exactly the same. It's only as you get to know someone that their motivations become clear to you. And the harsh reality in dating is that until they know you, women almost always interpret niceness in that negative way. Now, I'm not going to tell you that being mean or acting some kind of way is the way to get women because, well, there are cases where boldness, bordering on rudeness, can get you noticed. That's true. But there's a very fine line between coming across as someone who always speaks their mind no matter what and someone who can't read a room. So you want to be very careful with that. And if that strategy becomes like a whole act, then it's a doomed one because there's no act that can last forever. Women will inevitably see who you are as they spend more time with you. So the thing to focus on is just knowing what type of kindness is likely to be taken for weakness or agenda in the dating stage. And a good rule of thumb for this is, would she do this for me? For example, you might talk to her about music and recommend an artist, but don't make her a personalized playlist unless you're sure she would do the same for you. Or similarly, you could meet her in a different place that's convenient for both of you, but don't drive hours to meet her again unless you're sure she would do the same. Now, I know this can be very frustrating if you're the type of guy who's genuinely nice and nice to everyone and wants to do nice things for people because it feels like you're being punished for doing the right thing or just for being yourself. But you can't control a stranger's interpretation of your actions. I'll give you a quick analogy for this. Imagine you buy a drink from a shop and then you realize you don't want it. What do you think would happen if you walked around the street trying to give that drink to someone? You would have a tough time getting someone to accept it. You would probably get a lot of strange looks and people just sort of trying to shimmy away from you as soon as possible, right? And that would be even more the case with women, right? Women would be even less likely to accept the drink. So it doesn't matter that you're genuinely trying to do a nice thing. If people don't know you, they will treat that with a lot of suspicion. And you probably know this sort of instinctively, like most of us would just throw that perfectly good drink in the bin before going around offering it to people because it would just be a waste of your time. It would be a waste of their time. They feel uncomfortable. You feel like an idiot. And then you just end up throwing the drink away anyway. You should consider being quote unquote nice to a woman in the early stages of dating to be in the same category of behavior as the drink scenario. You know a friend would accept that drink in a heartbeat, so just hold on to it for now. You know, you'll have plenty of chances to do nice things once you're in a relationship. While you're at it, Ask yourself if your niceness is genuinely coming from the best place, because if you're just agreeing with everything she says so that she'll like you, then you're not actually being nice. You're just hiding who you really are. And again, it can never last forever. So just speak your mind. Men who are strong enough to take those risks are more attractive to women. And that plays into the boldness that I mentioned earlier. So the key thing to remember is that niceness itself genuinely is not a turn-off. But in the early stages, it's very likely to be interpreted negatively. So just don't take the risk. Once a girl gets to know you, she'll appreciate your kindness. It will be a blessing, not a curse. But you have to make sure that it's always coming from the right place. If this was helpful to you, feel free to click some buttons and help me out. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.